Forgiveness is one of those parts of the Christian life that we know we have to do, but we may not think very much about. Scripture presents many implications of forgiveness and the reasons for it, and places like Ephesians 4 and 5, that transition between those two chapters there, talk about we are to forgive because we're imitating God's forgiveness, what He has done for us. A similar thing in Colossians 3, that because of all of the forgiveness that we have received, we ought to forgive. We ought to forgive others. Jesus talked about this in Matthew, I believe, in chapter 18. But in Second Corinthians, Paul brings another aspect of forgiveness that we don't often think about. And throughout the first two chapters, Paul has been talking about this interrelated connection between believers, especially within a local church, and how they're to work together, and the joy of one should be the joy of them all, and just the partnership that should happen between them and other believers. And then Paul says this in Second Corinthians chapter 2, of verses 10 and 11. He says, "But one whom you forgive anything, I forgive also. For indeed, what I have forgiven, if I have forgiven anything, I did it for your sakes in the presence of Christ, so that no advantage would be taken of us by Satan, for we are not ignorant of his schemes." It may seem a little bit of an interesting way of saying it there in verse 10, but Paul's saying, I'm going to forgive as well. That we need to offer forgiveness, because when we hold back from forgiving others, we're hurting ourselves. Yes, we would talk about that, but we're also causing division within a local church. And that's what one of Satan's schemes there is to do, is he hates the church and he wants to destroy it. And one of the schemes that he has is to stir up division, and he can do so by allowing there to be these grudges and cliques and unforgiveness that can destroy the life and testimony of a local church. So I wanted to encourage us to look at what Christ has done for us. So Paul says that he forgave in the presence of Christ. The word presence there has the idea of the face of Christ, that he is watching, and that we ought to remember that we are in his presence, that we are brought into relationship with him because of the forgiveness that he offers. He has forgiven us so much. And because we are his children and have his spirit within us, we are empowered and called to forgive one another. So I want to encourage us to do that, so that no advantage will be taken of us by the enemy, that there won't be these divisions won't spring up within local churches. And the song this week, I'm not playing it linked to it. It's actually called Forgiveness by Matthew West. And this is a powerful song to think about, and the messages that he presents in there. So encourage you to check it out. It's Forgiveness by Matthew West. The link should be in the description. But because Christ has forgiven us, let us forgive one another, so no advantage will be taken of us by the enemy. May God bless. Scripture quotations are from the NASB, the New American Standard Bible, copyright 1971, 1995 by the Lockman Foundation. Used by permission, all rights reserved.